Hello, everyone. My name's Sue Ellson, and welcome to 10 Ways to Improve Your LinkedIn Page. This is a 30-minute webinar, so I have a lot to get through. I welcome questions in the chat at any time, and there will be a little bit of engagement as well. Now, this particular presentation has been designed for people who are freelancers, consultants, gigsters, people who own their own business, or people who work for a business and need to look after the LinkedIn page. This is part of a series of webinars that I've run every month for free since October 2021. This is LinkedIn page. The previous one was LinkedIn profile. Next one is LinkedIn engagement. So we will get cracking right through. This is going to focus on both recent updates to LinkedIn as well as some of the lesser known features of LinkedIn pages and some of the things that you should always remember if you are going to be responsible for a LinkedIn page. I encourage you to sign in to your laptop or desktop computer. That's the way I recommend that you update LinkedIn. And if you would like to, you can also log into your phone, and I can quickly show you at the end how to connect with people via your phone, which I recommend that you do from now on with everyone you meet. So everyone who's turned up live, thank you for that. There's over 200 people who've registered to either attend live or see the recording. So everybody who does attend live, I will be automatically sending you these resources to your email address. And I'd like to remind you that I'm hosting a 4-hour in-person workshop where we actually go through and update your LinkedIn profile and or your page. I'll be at the Melbourne Career Expo this Saturday and presenting 3 times on artificial intelligence and jobs and other tips for job seekers. And also I encourage you to follow me on social media. So I'll just put the links again in the chat, particularly for those of you who've registered via Eventbrite, if you can connect with me on LinkedIn, because you used to be able to send an invitation to connect on LinkedIn with an email address, but you can't do that anymore. So if you'd like to connect with me, that's the one. Every time I run one of these webinars, I update you with my statistics just to keep myself accountable and to let you know how my social media is tracking. Yes, I'm one of the 70 million people who joined Threads this week. Not spending too much time on there, I have to say. But yes, as I teach social media, I'm on those other platforms as well. Sorry if you can't hear any audio. Is anybody else having that problem? Zoom has permission to access your headphones. Thanks, Wasim. If you can't hear Karen, don't panic. I can still send you the recording and you'll be able to listen to that as well. Rachna can hear. Thank you for that. Appreciate your feedback there. So for those of you who don't know, I'm the author of 5 books. 2 of those are on LinkedIn. My first one was Everything I Knew About LinkedIn shoved into one book. This is very story driven. Attract the Right Career or Business. Market Your Business Hyperlocally is case study driven. Gigsters is basically my story of being someone who hasn't had a real job since 1994. And I'm here to prove that it can be done. And this is definitely where I see the future of work heading, not jobs, but work. It was a finalist in the Australian Career Book Award. And my latest book, LinkedIn for Me and My Career Business, is also a finalist in the Australian Career Book Award. That will be announced in October this year, the winner. I've also launched an online course that goes with the book. So if you're interested in that, you can also register. And again, for those of you who don't know, I'm a member of Golden Key, which is for the top 15% of undergraduates. The Melbourne Press Club, the Career Development Association of Australia, Australian Society of Authors, Writers Victoria, Small Press Network, and Educate Plus, which is for advancement professionals in schools. My website for the books is 120 Ways Publishing, and I also set up Newcomers Network as my first website in 2001. And my previous career was a banker for 11 years at Westpac. So I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on where we are all based. This presentation is for everybody, and I try and be as inclusive as possible in all of my educational activity. The slides and video recording will be sent to you. You can leave your video camera off. I'm not one of those people who insist that you stay online, and please keep your microphone on mute for the recording purposes. And also, I'm going to assume there's a varied level of knowledge and experience. Be warned that LinkedIn is very good at changing the screen. So if you're watching this well after the event, Some things may have changed, but the principles will still be the same. Plenty of information on my website. I will be having an exit poll, which says what's been most helpful to you at the end. And I also encourage you to think of 3 things you can do in 3 hours from now. Otherwise, you will have spent this 30 minutes with me and not got any benefit out of it. And also, my mum taught me to always say thank you. So if you do get some benefit out of this, I welcome the opportunity for you to buy a book, follow me on social media, give me a LinkedIn endorsement or recommendation, a Facebook or a Google review. So what I'd like you to do now is on LinkedIn, go to your own profile and click the More button and choose About This Profile and let me know when you joined LinkedIn, because it's wonderful to know whether you're all newbies to LinkedIn or whether you've been around a little bit longer, and also whether you're based in Australia or overseas. So if you can put your year and your A or O in the chat, that will give me a bit of an idea of where you're all coming from. And if you want to mention the country, if it's not Australia, that's fine too. So 2009, well, that's a pretty good early adopter. 2008, well, we're getting lower. That's terrific. 2011, 2012, another 2012, 2011. Toronto, Canada, Rachna, thank you. Great to have you from so far away. So lots of numbers coming in there. Yeah, it's kind of handy to know that for yourself, but also when you're looking at other people's profiles and they would like to connect to you, it's nice to know how long they've been on the platform. New Zealand, oh, that's somewhere I would love to visit. Masood, nice to hear from you. Also New Zealand from Shade. And Birgit, also New Zealand. My goodness, we've got a number of early adopters here. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. And somebody else from Adelaide. Well done, Lisa. I'm originally from Adelaide and been living in Melbourne since '94. So let's get into the content. The first thing to think about when you create a LinkedIn page, if you haven't already, is to choose whether it's going to be a company, showcase, or educational institution. Now, I do a lot of work with schools, and I find that a number of schools either A, don't have a LinkedIn page, or B, they've created a company page instead of a school page or educational institution. So if your school has accidentally created a company instead of a school, you can click on that link there and ask LinkedIn to change it. So that is an important tip. Now, a showcase page is if you're an organization that has lots of fabulous products and services, like a company like Adobe has Photoshop and Dreamweaver and all sorts of platforms that you can different products that you can purchase. So they could have an Adobe page and then an individual showcase page for each of their products. But for most of us, I'm going to suggest just have a company page, even if you are an individual consultant. So in the early days of pages, a lot of LinkedIn trainers would say, don't have a LinkedIn page in your own name. And I say, well, I'm going to, because that puts a little logo on my LinkedIn profile when I say I work for myself. But it also means I can attract followers. And every time I post on my personal profile, I also post on my personal LinkedIn page. So that way somebody can just look at my LinkedIn page and see everything I've posted all in one spot. So that is the other reason I do that. Oh, nice to see you, Rob. Got a couple more from New Zealand and another from 2011. Excellent. So great to see many of you were early adopters. That's fantastic. So make sure, as I said, you've got the right page. One in your company name, one in your personal name. Absolutely, Rod. That's exactly what I'm suggesting. So to be on LinkedIn, you have to have a personal profile. And if you're consulting on your own basis, I definitely recommend that you also have your own LinkedIn page. So when you go onto the Me menu and you choose your company page, this is the screen that you may see. And the reason I say you may see is because I've seen some of my clients, their page layout has changed slightly to this. So you could have a slightly different screen. But oh my goodness, there are so many menus. There is not just one menu. Now, the one that is the one I'm going to focus on first is the Edit the Page menu, but you've got this menu up the top, you've got a drop-down box over here on the side, you've got this other component on the right, you've got how to put something in the post, you've got this new little prompt section, you've got these little tabs so you can go into the others, and then finally you have your news feed in the middle down the bottom there. So there are multiple sections on your LinkedIn page, and I think for a lot of us we forget to look beyond the top menu, or maybe even this top right one. And also what I've found is when I'm using the LinkedIn page, I quite often have to switch back to view as member because I can't find what I'm looking for despite all of these different menus. So just keep in mind, you've got all of these sections to look at on your page, and all of them require some level of activity. So the next thing is the edit the page button. Now, what I love about LinkedIn, I was a bit concerned when it was acquired by Microsoft in 2016, but now I'm extremely grateful because it's not run by a megalomaniac, it's actually run by an organization. And that means that it has remained a professional network. It's a safe space. It's not like the Wild West on some of the platforms, and it's not as egotistical as some of the other social media platforms. It's very democratic. There are a lot of algorithms to detect bad behavior and to delete profiles and get rid of people who are causing problems. So that's why I love it. And what I really love about it is it's constantly updating. So some of the buttons that you may not be aware of on this edit page screen are people who might be interested in working for you. You can alert people to that. The workplace, whether you're remote, hybrid, or on site, and also your commitments. So these are sections. Also, if you have multiple locations or a representative representing you in another location, you can add all of those as well. So please take the time, stalk my LinkedIn profile or page if you wish, but also make sure you fill in all of those sections. The commitments is a nice one to talk about whether you're interested in diversity and inclusion and career progression and all that sort of thing. And the lead gen form we're going to be talking about today. So on the lead gen form, you have 4 different choices. So where it says here, get started, that's the one I've chosen, but you can also choose contact sales, request a demo, or start a free trial. So make your headline nice and catchy, put in 200 characters of copy, and it will ask for the get started to link to the privacy policy. Google expects every website to have a privacy policy. So if you haven't got one, it's probably time you got one anyway, and away you go. So that's a fairly easy one to do, your lead generation form. The next one is there are so many tools on the LinkedIn page. And one of the ones that I love, particularly as an individual with my own LinkedIn page, is this one about inviting your connections to follow your page. So you can see here, I've got 250 credits available every month. I have over 25,000 connections. So therefore, there's 250 people a month I can invite to follow my company page if I so choose. And that's very helpful as well. Add multiple locations, Rob. You just go to that location section on the left, and what you will see is the spot where you can add it in. So just click on that from the edit page, locations, and then you can add in. So you can add in Adelaide as your new one. That will be super exciting. Invite your connections. Now, also what you can see, if you go into analytics, that drop-down box there, you will see a list of all of your followers. So again, as a private individual, I like to invite my followers to connect with me. You can have 30,000 connections, so you might want to do that. But also what there is now is the determination where it says manage your following. So here you can see I've followed 7 pages. So these are the organizations that I'm a member of. So what I'm going to be talking about in next month's webinar is your LinkedIn engagement. So I want you to think of LinkedIn not just as a platform where you push out your content, but where you engage with other people's content. So you can actually monitor who you're following as a page. So all your suppliers, your stakeholders, your key customers. It would be really good for you to start following them and clicking on their grey notification bell and engage with their content. Next one is, as I said, connect with your followers. So if you get that list under analytics followers, you can scroll through and invite the followers of your page to connect with you personally. Because my page name is in the same name as my personal profile, some people accidentally end up at my page instead of my profile. So that's why I invite them to connect. And it's also a good idea to keep a time-based record of your followers. So if every month you collect your statistics and you say, I've now got X number of followers, which is what I'm doing by running these webinars each month, I keep myself accountable, then you can see how your number of followers is increasing over time. Now, back to engagement. When you are operating on your own LinkedIn profile, you'll see the notifications on the top of the screen and you'll see that there's a few come in and you can see them all. But on the LinkedIn company page, you are not advised of those notifications. So you actually have to go to this little activity screen and see what's been happening recently. And you can filter by any of these and engage. Now, the beautiful thing about a LinkedIn page is you can get somebody else to be an administrator for it and do your engagement for you. However, you are not allowed under the LinkedIn user agreement to have somebody else log in and act as you on your LinkedIn profile. And the LinkedIn algorithm will detect if somebody in some foreign country is logging into your account and operating as you to provide engagement. And you risk having your profile deleted without warning. So the good thing about a LinkedIn page is you can add additional administrators and they can operate as you and they can do that engagement for you. So if that's something you would like to outsource to another team member or a virtual assistant or something like that, you can do it with a LinkedIn page. So think about who's going to be doing that, what you're going to be doing, what hashtags, so you can have 3 hashtags chosen for your page. And also just remind yourself, if I'm not going to see the notification, I've got to manually check and make sure that that is okay. So you can see here my hashtags are LinkedIn, Sue Ellson Poem and Sue Ellson. I've only got 4 followers on my hashtag, but the benefit of putting that hashtag on all my content is people can click the hashtag and see everything else that I have produced. So even if they're not following it, it still gives them an easy way to access it. So this event is a LinkedIn event, and I only put free events on as LinkedIn events because I've tried with a number of paid events to promote them on LinkedIn, and I put the link and I remind people to register and I message them directly and I do all the things, but they still don't purchase a ticket. So I think there is a perception among a lot of people that if it's an event on LinkedIn, it will be free. So let's just save yourself the trouble and just host free events. Now, I love free events because it gives me an opportunity to promote my activities far and wide. It gives me the opportunity to engage and educate, which I love doing. It gives me the impetus to put some new content together every single month and have something that I can share with my audience in my newsletter, keep my stats up to date, it keeps me accountable, does all those kind of things. I can invite 1,000 people per week of my connections to the event, and anybody who also registers can invite 1,000 of their connections a week to attend. If somebody says they're coming to my event, it puts the details on their LinkedIn profile. So it says Rob has registered to go to Sue's event. So therefore, every time somebody visits Rob's profile, they see that he's going to my event, and that promotes the event a little bit further. Now, when I run the event and I put the link to the event, I put it to a link on my website, which does include the Zoom link, which does include the LinkedIn registration, which does include the Eventbrite registration. But after the event has run on LinkedIn, nobody can change it, not even me. So if I've got the link to my website already there, not the Zoom link, but the website link, it means that if somebody stumbles across this event after the event, they don't see some redundant Zoom link, they see the link to my website and they can get all the details about the event there. Also, everybody who registers for the event, I invite them to connect with me, so that increases my network. And the beautiful thing is, on your LinkedIn page, somebody can scroll through and see all your past events. So it just proves your authenticity and your reputation. It's another due diligence check. I'm not some Johnny come lately. I'm somebody who's been doing this for a long time. You can see the people who've registered. You can network with those participants. Like, it just goes on and on and on. I love LinkedIn events. I don't run LinkedIn live events, but yeah, it's good. Ray says, using a VPN with random origins trigger that security feature. Ray, I can't guarantee it, but to be honest, I see LinkedIn as a golden goose that lays golden eggs. And there is no way I'm going to test the LinkedIn user agreement. I plan to be honest, upright, ethical forever on the platform, because it's too good and I don't want to ruin those opportunities. So if they say they don't want anybody else pretending to be me, that's fine. I can accept that. So yeah. LinkedIn live event. Okay, Chris, that's another type of event when you create an event that you can choose, and it requires third-party software, and it basically streams the event live on the LinkedIn platform, and it also allows a recording to be there afterwards, and it notifies the people, and it's all done within the LinkedIn platform. I prefer to run it as a separate event so that I have a little bit more control over things, and I can still use Zoom, and I only have one subscription, and I can put the recording on YouTube, and I can put it on my website and all the things. So thank you for that question. All right, I want to stick to the 30 minutes, so we'll move on. The next thing is a newsletter strategy. So some of you would know that if you have a LinkedIn profile and you've turned on creator mode, you could have a newsletter. Well, the good news is that they've now added the newsletter feature to LinkedIn pages. The benefit of this is that if somebody follows your LinkedIn page, they are automatically invited to subscribe to your newsletter. So this is a super cool feature. I don't have to do any work, but now that I've created a newsletter, it automatically invites people to subscribe. So the way I run my newsletter is I add it to my website first. I email it to people on my mailing list. I put it out as the same content as my Sue Ellson creator newsletter. So I've got 5,000 subscribers on my personal profile newsletter, and the exact same newsletter I put on my company page. And you can see here, I've got 244 subscribers to that as well. I don't have to pay a fee to distribute this. It gets sent as a notification to all of those people. And I just do it once a month because that's reasonable for somebody who's running their own business to do it. And I just amalgamate the best of the stuff that I've had published during the month in my newsletter. So I repurpose it. Once you have created your newsletter on your LinkedIn company page, viewing it as a member, you will see this box here, which shows your newsletter. And then if you click around there, it will bring up this screen, and every time you want to do a new edition, you just choose create new edition and away you go. So the next thing is statistics. Now, I've worked with a lot of clients, their LinkedIn pages, and one client would spend multiple hours per month working for her boss, collecting the statistics on the performance of each of the individual posts on the LinkedIn page. So she actually spent more time collecting the stats than she did producing great content or engaging on the news feed or following her clients or whatever else. So I'm here to suggest that the best statistics to keep if you are going to be really trying to monitor a LinkedIn page is the number of followers, and try and get that to increase by 5 or more a month. The number of people you're following. So again, if it's your clients, at least 5 a month. The number of posts. So I'm suggesting you only need to post once a week. If you can do more than that, great. But please don't do probably more than 3 posts a week. You can write articles as a page now, and the benefit is it stays with the business. So rather than the CEO writing an article and sharing it with their network, you can write it as a company page, and then it goes out to your followers. the number of engagements. So they say that a good engagement ratio is 12 to 1. So you engage 12 times, but you only post once. So you don't have to do 12 a week, but if you did, that would be super. Everybody likes it when you like their stuff. The number of events, I do one a month, and newsletters, I do one a month. And as I said before, you can have admins to help you. So hopefully you've been able to determine 3 things you can do in the next 3 hours from this webinar. I would love to hear what you think you can do as a result of this. If you said to me, I'm going to edit my page, increase my engagement, and consider running a LinkedIn event, that would be fantastic. But, you know, it's entirely up to you. As I said, my next webinar is going to be 10 ways to improve your LinkedIn engagement on the 9th of August. The details are already online. These are all the previous ones since October 2021, which you are welcome to check out by visiting that link there. And, they've got another quick question here from Russia. I'm slowly increasing my followers, but have slowed that down as I haven't created a newsletter yet. So I'm in a chicken and egg situation. So I know if I have a newsletter, then when I have new followers, they will automatically invite you to join. Okay, now when you produce your first newsletter, it will automatically invite all your followers. And so that's good news. And then obviously from there on, get started. Now, Rachna, we all have the challenge of wanting to be perfect before we do anything. And if you look at this first webinar, which had my most participants, to this one, you know, they've changed over time. You'll see the slides are different, the length is different, the content is different, everything changes. So just get started and iterate along the way. And yes, Ryan's got the same thing. Okay, so they're the previous webinars. I'll open for lots of other general questions shortly. Reminder, you've got the online course that will help you with both your LinkedIn profile and your LinkedIn page, your engagement, your content, your results, the setup, shine and surprise methodology, the latest offer. Everybody who's registered will be emailed these files. Let me know if you've got any questions. You can attend live in Melbourne on Saturday. I've already got one person booked in. There's a maximum of 4. So you're welcome to join me at that. And the Melbourne Career Expo is free. I'll be there all day Saturday. If you haven't already, you can follow me on social media. And I'm also popping in the chat the links to where to write a review. There's my books again. There's lots of extra resources in my blog, publications page, presentations page, podcast page, television. I've appeared 10 times on Today Extra on Channel 9 now. And then there's a record of all my videos. If you want the slides, they're in my blog. The recording will be on my YouTube channel. And I keep a record of my Google reviews. Now, the reason, if you're on Facebook, I would love a Facebook review. I use Bing as my search engine. And the reason I use it is it includes ChatGPT prompts in the search, and I just find it amazing. And I'm practicing with ChatGPT as well, because obviously I'm talking about artificial intelligence on Saturday. And then, of course, if you don't want to have Facebook or Google, you can just write an online review on my website. You can pop a chat comment in there now. I will be turning off the screen sharing so that if you'd like to ask a question live, you can very shortly, but they're the links. So yeah, if you want to scan, I really appreciate reviews as a result of attending the webinar. And I hope that you've got some serious value out of this presentation. So I'll stop the sharing of the screen and see you all on camera. So feel free to either pop up your hand using the reaction button, the raise hand button, or just unmute and I'll announce you, and you are welcome to ask me any questions about LinkedIn, whether that be about a page or anything else. So who's going to go up first? Or if you just want to make a comment about the webinar and tell us what you're going to do next, it's all fine. Oh, I've got a couple of things in the chat here. I'll just see what they are. Thank you from Masood. Thank you from Lauren. Thank you. Any questions or comments? There was a lot of content there in 30 minutes, lots of thank yous coming through, most generous, thanks for the session, lots of features to look into, absolutely. Thanks from Gaurav, Wasim, Raphael, need to jump off. That's why I do it in 30 minutes. Try and get through the stuff as quickly as possible and focus on the things that I think are most important. Any other questions? And you can pop them in the chat just to me personally if you don't want to be identified by the question. Otherwise, okay, Rod said, set up a newsletter, can do it on a personal page, does not have to be your business page. Yes, so if you want to do it on your personal profile, Rod, you will need to turn on creator mode. That's the thing you need to turn on first, and then you can set up your newsletter. So obviously I've got way more connections on LinkedIn as a person than I have as a page. So that's why I do the newsletter on both. But I also have it on my website because we all know with social media platforms, they're changing all the time. And I want there to be a record of all my past newsletters. So I don't just shove it in MailChimp and leave it. I put it on my website so that there's a full record going back over time. Chris, I will see if my new organization has a LinkedIn page and propose a LinkedIn event. Good on you. See, that's fantastic. I love hearing about action. Like, I'm an educator at heart, so it gives me thrills and excitement when somebody tells me that they're going to take action. What are your thoughts on boosting a post when you're wanting to go to a targeted audience? Okay, this is a really challenging question to answer because we know with Facebook, we can basically say, did somebody eat Wheaties for breakfast, and send the post to that person. Like, we know that a Facebook ad can be targeted really, really well to a very specific audience. However, there's a guy called AJ Wilcox, who is the legend on all things LinkedIn advertising. So if you want to know about this sort of stuff, follow AJ Wilcox. However, when you boost a post, and by the way, I don't pay, apart from my premium membership, I don't pay for LinkedIn ads. The challenge that you have with these automatic things is you're at the mercy of the platform to determine who it's going to go to. And I can't guarantee who that is. So I always work on the principle, you need to make sure that what you are doing organically works really, really well before you consider boosting a post and sending it. Now, I've got articles. If you Google LinkedIn for salespeople and you put Sue Ellson after it, you'll see some stuff I've got there about sales. There's a link there to should you pay for social media ads? And I really encourage you to read that before you just throw money at the platform. So as an example, there was a mortgage broker I was working with, and he was the president of the local football club, and everybody knew him and loved him as the president of the local football club. And he came to me and he said, look, I'd like to pay for online ads. And I said, well, you know, okay, but have you done all of this? No, he hadn't done all the basics, but I still want to pay for online ads. I said, look, why do you want to pay for online ads? And he said, well, there's a guy down the road and he paid and he got a lot of interest. And I said, yeah, but did he get any sales? And he says, no, but he got a lot of interest. So he was interested. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm an ex-banker. If I'm spending money, I want a return on my investment. So I would rather pay someone to find the person who would buy what it is I'm selling, right? Like, that to me is the better spend, not just, I mean, sure, getting people to know about you and broadcasting, that's fine. That's a different reason for having an ad. But if your ad is to sell your product to particular people, think about it. So just as an example of selling on LinkedIn, one of my clients had a risk management software. I've told this story many times, and it was suitable for government local councils. So what he did was he connected with all these local councils all over Australia, these individuals who would make the buying decision for that risk management software. He sold the risk management software to some councils. And then what we did is he prepared a message that he was going to individually message to these people well after he had connected with them. Fortunately, he sent that message to me first so I could edit it. So I made the message effective. And would you believe he got a 40% return on his investment? Now, that is a very large purchase price product, risk management software. It was not a cheap process, but to think about that process and the direct sales, it was far better than just throwing money at ads and hoping for the best. Because let me assure you, if a government employee saw an ad in the newsfeed, I mean, A, they're probably not even looking at the newsfeed, and B, they probably wouldn't purchase it. Whereas if they've got a direct message which talks about other councils that have used it and they've got the stats, then they're much more likely to go there. So think about what your product is, the sales, and how to go about that. Chris has just left me a Google review. Thank you, Chris. Much appreciated. Rod, same here. I set up my company page, 6,000 personal, 50 company. So Rod, don't forget, you can now go in and invite those connections to follow your company page, increase the size of your digital asset and increase the value of your business, because you can prove that if I sell the business, all these followers come with it and they're an engaged audience because they engage with my content because it's so fabulous. Is the sales social selling index a good index? Thank you, Charlene, for that question. I did talk about that in the last webinar. I think it's interesting, but I would not place any credence on it whatsoever. The only thing that I believe counts is, are you doing business? Like that's the only thing that counts. It can give you some clues. It's nice to watch. You can shout it out to your friends. My SSI is 95. Oh, who cares? You've got to get results. You know, that's the only thing. Write an article is for newsletter and blog post. Great question, Zancha. Okay, when you go to write an article, it will, if you've already created a newsletter, it will automatically make you try and create a newsletter again. And I've made that mistake. So when you click write an article, make sure you've chosen just an article, not a newsletter. So that's why I say when you're going to write a newsletter, go through that newsletter menu choice from your main page where you view as a member, and then click on that. And Joe's created a newsletter for 2 of our pages. Okay, fine. Oh, that's what you're going to do afterwards. Good, excellent. Lisa, great session, got to jump off. That's okay. Anju, thank you. Lauren, thank you. Bridie, lots of great tips. Love what you said about noticing whether what you're doing organically is working, and also to just start. Oh my goodness, it's so important. Just get a handle on it. And I'll come to your question in 1 second there, Joe. So much good information, lots to digest. Thank you, Charlene. Right, okay, Joe, fire away. Unmute and tell us your question. And ready? I can't hear you.
Hi, it's Joe.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm the only Joe because no one else jumped in. So I really didn't have a question. So my bad. Sorry.
It's all right, all good.
Okay, but while I have you then, maybe while I'm thinking, I missed the bit where you go to create the newsletter. So did you go in via pages or did you go in on your own profile?
Okay, so you can have a newsletter on either. And if you are going to be, oh my goodness, end of slideshow. Okay, we'll just get out of there. I'll stop the screen. Okay, so here is my company page. And if I want to create a newsletter, I would go over to this admin tools and choose create a newsletter. But now that I've already done it, I look at it as a member. I scroll down here to where it says my newsletter, and then I just create a new edition there. So that's the easiest way to do it. Now, the trick is that if I was doing it, we'll just go back to the company page again. If I chose write an article here, it automatically says I'm writing it as a newsletter. So if I want to write an article, I've got to click that and change it to article. So that's another way that you can, once you've got one edition up, you can add in another edition. Does that answer the question?
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, cool, excellent. Well done. And any other final questions? Don't forget you can watch the recording, check it all out again, fast forward to the bits that are helpful. We're all good. As I said, yes, share the recording, share the slides, do whatever you like. I'm all about educating people. If you've got a direct question, I'll just put my email in the chat. You can send that through as well. You're a star. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. I do also copy paste the comments in the chat to the website page. And if you do write a review, I also feature that on the event page. So that gives you a bit of extra publicity for saying thank you. Oh, a nice little star there from Rachna. Thank you. Thank you for a great webinar from Heather. Thanks, so valuable. Lots to work on from Rod. Yeah, I really try and include, as I said, new, existing, and must do kind of stuff. Really also thanks for the free education, Sue. Much appreciated. You doing a wonderful job with the golden goose. Yes, let us protect the golden goose. Let's not kill it. Let's all be nice and play well. Yeah, that's really, really important. So thank you for all turning up. Great to have you with me, and look forward to seeing you online or in another webinar in the future. And good luck with your book. Thank you, Joe. Yes, I got an extra sale this week. I was super excited. Joe came to one of the workshops for 4 hours with a lady called Diane, and Diane recommended the book to Steve, and Steve purchased the book. So I hand-delivered it to him on Saturday. That was super exciting as well. So thank you all. And it really was worth it. Yes, thank you, Nalin. Yeah, great to have you with us. Bye for now.